I was at a forum with the Chancellor at NYU a few months ago, and where they released a series of white paper documents, and one of the areas they covered was ELL programs and how to really improve the way we view ELL for the 21st century. And I want to just give a quick shout out for those professors, Lorena Losa, Professor Kiefer, and Professor Lee, and just take a moment to read some of the recommendations, and I want to get your feedback on this. The educators should take into account the diverse academic skills and educational histories of English learners when they're choosing curricula and instruction for these students, rather than relying on their English learner classification code. States should implement assessment systems to hold schools accountable that appropriately combine information of English learners' progress in language proficiency and content areas. And I think you touched upon a couple of these areas. And my biggest concern, my question is that, I'm a firm believer, I think many of my colleagues too as well, that we become what we're measured by. Yet, if our schools are not measured by how effectively they're promoting ELA programs, and teachers' performance continue to be measured by high-stakes testing, how do we capture and measure the intangibles that you had mentioned, the collaborations, right, the social and emotional learning? These are very intangible elements. So how do we have the right discussions or revamp the way that we actually measure academic success so people can promote these elements?
Okay, so that we believe that when we are testing our English language learners, we should not only use one measure of assessment, but we should use multiple measures of assessment. Our students come with many challenges, and you mentioned the social emotional, which is one of them, but also their academic progress. So that by using tests that measures different modalities for the L's will give us a deeper insight as to how we need to provide educational services for them. The other part of that is that we also need to provide training for our teachers, because in many instances, it is not just giving them the tools and the resources. We also need to do extensive professional development so that teachers are very well trained. And we welcome to be able to say that it is not just the ELA that we should be using, the English language arts, but that we can use alternate ways to access our L's. Do you want to add anything, Yalitza?
Sure. So one of the things under Chancellor Farina is that we have a new support structure for our schools, which we have field support centers located throughout the different boroughs in conjunction with our school district that work with our superintendents. And within those field support centers, we have staff that are solely dedicated to English language learners to not just address the academics, but also the social emotional piece, because we don't see that as two separate things, but we see that as things that we have to be planning together.
Thank you.
And as well, you probably do know that we are operating within a construct called the Framework for Great Schools. And we're actually assessing all of our schools against those elements, which include leadership, rigorous instruction, collaborative teachers, the social emotional health of our students, strong family and community ties, and trust, and our school surveys, which we administer to parents and students and staff, really help inform the degree to which our schools are progressing against those elements. And those elements are really looking at how our schools are delivering services to all of our students, including our English language learners.